carved their names into the edge of the world. Sailors, raiders, voyagers who crossed oceans with nothing but wood, rope, and an uncanny knowledge of the sea. Legends call them fierce. History reveals something far more complex. What secrets lay beneath the helmets and the longships? What made a people who lived under northern lights master the art of survival, navigation, and strategy in ways few could match? They were more than raiders. The Vikings were observers of wind and sky, readers of currents and subtleties in the waves. They navigated by sun and stars, by patterns in the sea and the behavior of birds, trusting knowledge passed from one generation to the next. Picture a crew of oars cutting through morning mist, a helmsman who can sense the tide as if it were a living thing. This was maritime skill woven into daily life. Power, for them, was often psychological as much as physical. Reputation was a weapon. Banners raised at dawn, sudden raids timed to terrify, displays of strength designed to end conflict before the first spear was thrown. Deception and timing were as deadly as any blade. Their enemies learned to fear not just their steel, but the certainty that a Viking strike might come when least expected. Yet the most fascinating secrets hide in the everyday: rituals, runes, and the crafts of daily life. Runes were carved with purpose. They were mnemonic, practical, and for some, sacred. A symbol cut into wood or bone might mark ownership, tell a tale, or stand as a protective sign. Craftsmen forged blades and jewelry with techniques that balanced beauty and utility, revealing an advanced technical sense that belies stereotypes of a dark age. Then there are the warriors whose stories straddle myth and reality. Tales of furious fighters told across sagas may be rooted not only in sheer violence, but in ritual preparation, intense training, and psychological conditioning that changed how they faced the chaos of battle. Whether seen as inspiration, threat, or mystery, these figures reveal a culture that transformed identity into strategy. Viking society itself was organized in ways that surprise many. Things, public assemblies, settled disputes, planned voyages, and managed resources. Law and order existed alongside the raids. Negotiation, alliances, and trade mattered as much as conquest. Women played central roles as landholders, traders, and leaders at home, and sometimes beyond. Society was complex, not simply barbaric. Their ingenuity extended to exploration. Evidence suggests Viking seafaring reached far beyond what earlier scholars believed. Coastlines of distant lands where they left traces of contact long before modern maps recorded them. What navigation techniques, what small innovations in ship design allowed them to push farther and survive in alien waters? Those questions still fuel discovery today. But they were fallible. Climate shifts, disease, political rivalries, and internal conflicts shaped their rise and decline. Power was fragile. Leadership depended on loyalty, cunning, and the ability to adapt. Many Viking stories are also cautionary tales about the costs of ambition. Communities stretched by expansion, leaders betrayed by alliances, families torn by the demands of fame and war. And then there are the sagas, oral histories that carry memory through generations. Within them lie fragments of truth wrapped in storytelling, accounts of voyages, of clever ploys that turn the tide, of kinship bonds and bitter feuds. These texts and carvings offer glimpses into a worldview where honor, reputation, and skill overlapped with belief and ritual. From rune stones to ship burial relics, objects speak quietly. An ornate brooch or an intricately wrought blade tells of lineage, of trade routes that linked remote islands to bustling markets, of craftsmen who blended local tradition with distant influences.
The archaeological record continues to surprise. Small details reveal networks, exchanges, and a cultural reach more global than once assumed. So what is the deeper secret of the Vikings? Perhaps it is this: they were architects of perception. They controlled how others saw them, fearsome or noble, ruthless or honorable, whichever served a purpose at the moment. They mixed ceremony and strategy, myth and pragmatism, poetry and planning. The image that survives is as much a creation of their own making as a record of events. If history taught us anything about them, it's that complexity wins over caricature. Their legacy endures not only in sagas and museums, but in the ways modern storytellers borrow their drama. The Vikings' real lessons are about adaptability, the clever use of resources, and an unquenching recognition that survival demands wisdom as much as strength. Are you ready to dig deeper, beyond the myths, to see what those northern winds still whisper? The story doesn't end with a raid or a victory. It lives on in the clues left behind. An odd rune, a weathered prow, a line of verse in a saga. Follow those hints, and you may find truths that surprise you, because the ancient world is never as simple as it seems, and the Vikings were never only what legends chose to remember. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden world of the Vikings, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more untold histories, and join us on the next journey into the past. Discover the untold stories that history forgot, and witness the warriors who shaped an era, their shadow still influencing the modern world in ways you may never imagine.